Captain Alara Voss sat in the cockpit of her small salvage ship, the Iron Hawk, staring at the flickering radar screen. The asteroid belt before her was a graveyard of derelict ships and lost dreams. Most people avoided this sector, calling it cursed. But for Alara, it was opportunity. Every abandoned ship held secrets, treasures, or technology that could change her life, and she was good at finding them. Her ship glided carefully between jagged rocks. The void around her was quiet, almost too quiet. Then a signal pinged, soft, almost hidden. Alara leaned forward, squinting at the readings. "Now this is interesting," she muttered. The signal didn't match anything in her database. It was weak, erratic, and old, but alive. She set a course toward the source. Minutes later, the silhouette of a massive ship emerged from the darkness. It drifted silently, battered but intact. Its design was unfamiliar, sleek yet angular, as if built by someone who didn't belong in human space. Alara's heart quickened. Looks abandoned, and lucky me. Docking with the ship was tricky. Its hull had deep scratches and the boarding clamps were partially melted. But Alara was skilled. She maneuvered with precision and attached her grappling clamps. Slowly, she activated the airlock. It hissed open. Inside, the ship was eerily silent. No lights, no sound, only a faint hum from some unseen source. The corridors were clean, almost untouched by time. She raised her flashlight, sweeping over the walls. Strange symbols etched themselves into the metal, glowing faintly. She recognized none of them. "Alara Voss, this is definitely not a human vessel," she whispered to herself. She explored cautiously. Each room seemed abandoned yet preserved, as if waiting for someone. Crew quarters were empty, but food synthesizers still worked. The ship's bridge, however, drew her in. Its central console blinked once when she stepped onto the floor. The display flickered, lights forming patterns she couldn't comprehend. And then, almost like a whisper in her mind, a message appeared. "You were expected." Alara froze. She looked around, trying to see if someone was hiding, but there was no one. Her pulse raced. "Expected by what?" she murmured. She approached the console, touching the smooth glass. The ship seemed to respond, humming beneath her fingers. Systems lit up, lights dancing across the panels. She sat in the captain's chair. Normally, she would scan for power sources and life signs first, but something about this ship felt alive. It watched her, tested her. A holographic map appeared, showing stars, planets, and routes she didn't recognize. Coordinates blinked repeatedly, almost impatiently. Alara frowned. She had never seen navigation software behave like this. "Okay, this is weird," she said. Her fingers danced over the console, pressing buttons at random, instinct guiding her more than knowledge. And then she noticed a small chamber labeled Core Access. Curiosity pulled her forward. The door slid open silently. Inside, a glowing sphere hovered in the center. It pulsed gently, light spreading in waves across the room. She felt it before she saw it, an energy that made her skin tingle. "Wow," she breathed. The sphere seemed alive, almost breathing. Her mind buzzed with possibilities. "What are you?" When she reached out, the sphere pulsed stronger, brightening until the room was bathed in white light. She staggered back, shielding her eyes. Then the light dimmed and a voice echoed, not from speakers but inside her head. "Human, you are worthy." Alara stumbled. She had heard rumors of sentient ships but never seen one herself. And now here it was choosing her. "Worthy of what?" she asked aloud, though she doubted the voice needed an answer. The sphere shifted, projecting images. Stars being bent, fleets of ships moving at impossible speeds, weapons of unimaginable power. And then humans. Humans piloting those ships, making choices, thinking creatively, solving problems that no alien mind could predict. Her heart raced. "So this thing, it wants a human." "Yes," the voice responded calmly. "You are the key. Only a human can unlock my full potential." Alara blinked. She had salvaged ships before, yes, but none had ever chosen her. She had always worked for profit, for survival. Now something was offering her power, real power. And it was not just hers to use lightly. Her communicator beeped. It was a signal from a nearby trade station. She glanced at it. Humans and aliens alike were always looking for abandoned ships to claim. If she wasn't careful, someone else would find this ship first. "Not on my watch," she muttered. She started inspecting the systems, her hands moving over alien controls with surprising ease. The ship responded to her intuitively. It was as if it knew what she wanted before she even tried. She spent hours exploring every deck, every room. Some areas were locked, their access denied until she solved puzzles designed into the system. Locks that required lateral thinking, not brute force. Each challenge reinforced something she already suspected. The ship was alive, and it tested those who came aboard. By the time she reached the engine room, Alara had figured out part of the interface. The engines hummed gently, almost acknowledging her presence. She ran a full diagnostic. Power sources were stable, shields were functional, and weapon systems. Well, she didn't fully understand them yet, but they seemed capable of defending against an entire fleet. She stepped outside for a moment, looking at her small salvage ship moored beside the massive derelict. She felt a strange pride. "You know, I didn't come here expecting to find a friend, let alone a weapon that could change the galaxy." The voice from the core spoke again, calm and measured. "Power is meaningless without wisdom. You will learn, you must prove yourself." Alara smiled, the first genuine smile in days. She had always thrived on challenges. Danger was part of her life, part of her nature. And now she had a ship that could test her like never before. Hours passed as she continued exploring. She found strange rooms filled with technology she couldn't identify, data cores containing histories of battles she had never heard of. There were maps of unknown star systems, weapons blueprints, and files labeled with cryptic codes. She downloaded everything she could, knowing this knowledge could make her rich or make her a target. But deep down, she knew this wasn't just about wealth. The ship had a purpose. And somehow she was part of it. Suddenly the ship shuddered. Lights flickered. A faint alarm echoed through the corridors. Alara froze, her instincts screaming. Something or someone was approaching. She activated the ship's defensive shields. Outside, nothing could be seen through the thick debris of the asteroid belt. Yet the alarm persisted. She realized the ship was testing her again, probing her reaction. Calm under pressure, quick to act, that was what it wanted to see. Minutes later, the alarm stopped. The ship hummed quietly as if satisfied. Alara exhaled slowly, her hands shaking just slightly. She leaned against the wall, staring at the glowing core. "You and me, huh?" she said quietly. "Guess we're partners now." For the first time, Alara felt a connection to something greater than herself. Not just a ship, not just technology, but a mind, ancient and vast, waiting for the right human to guide it. She had no idea what lay ahead, but one thing was clear. Her life had just changed forever. As she settled in for the night, she looked out at the endless stars. Somewhere out there, rivals and enemies would eventually arrive. But she was ready. She had the ship, her skill, and her human ingenuity, and for once she didn't feel afraid. She fell asleep to the gentle hum of the ship's core, unaware of the full power that pulsed silently beneath her feet, power that could change the galaxy itself. Alara awoke to a soft, steady pulse of light from the ship's core. It was different from last night, stronger, alive, like it was breathing. She rubbed her eyes and leaned forward. The ship's holographic interface had activated fully, displaying symbols and patterns she had never seen before. "Good morning, human," the voice from the core said, calm and precise. Unlike last night, it spoke clearly, not in whispers or cryptic phrases. "You have rested, it is time to begin." Alara raised an eyebrow. "Time to begin what?" "To awaken potential," the voice replied. "To unlock the capabilities you were brought here to master," she frowned. "Potential? Master what? I don't even know how this ship works." The core pulsed, and a projection appeared above it, a three-dimensional map of star systems, planets, and ships. Lines and symbols moved like living threads. This vessel is a prototype designed to react to a human mind. Only humans can fully access it. You are compatible. Alara leaned closer, awe creeping into her voice. Compatible meaning what? It means, the voice said, that you can control systems far beyond human technology, weapons, engines, navigation, and more. But you must prove yourself worthy. Others will seek what you possess. Others will try to take it. Alara's stomach tightened. She had expected competition in the salvage business, but never on this scale. Others, she asked, her voice steady despite the sudden anxiety. Yes, the ship said simply. You are not alone in this sector. Some will come to claim what they do not understand. You must be ready. She took a deep breath. All right, if I'm going to survive, I need to learn fast. For the next several hours, she explored the ship systems. The controls were intuitive, almost like extensions of her own body. Buttons, levers, and touch panels moved under her hands as though the ship anticipated her thoughts. When she hesitated or made a mistake, subtle adjustments guided her, correcting her course. It wasn't long before she discovered the first test. A locked compartment labeled Containment Unit 7 had a puzzle projected on its surface. Symbols rotated in patterns, and she had to match them in sequences she had never seen. Hours passed. Frustration built, but Alara didn't give up. Human patience, curiosity, and persistence, qualities no alien mind could match, kept her going. Finally, the puzzle solved itself with a gentle click as the symbols aligned perfectly. The compartment opened. Inside was a small, glowing device, no bigger than her fist. The ship's voice explained, "This is a power conduit. It will interface with you and the vessel, amplifying control and awareness. Only a human can integrate it fully." Alara held it in her hand, marveling at the light pulsating within. It felt warm, alive, almost like a heartbeat. "So, I'm really in this now," she whispered. Before she could explore further, an alert sounded. The ship's sensors had detected movement, far away beyond the asteroid belt. Blips appeared on the display, multiple ships, fast, precise, and heavily armed. "They're coming," the ship said. "You are being watched." Alara's pulse quickened. "Who are they?" "They seek power. They do not understand it. They will take it by force if given the chance." She grabbed her helmet and secured it. "Then we make sure they don't get it." The next hour was a blur of preparation. Alara ran diagnostics on the ship's weapons, shields, and engines. The ship responded faster than any human system she had worked with before, almost intuitively. When she tapped a control, it anticipated her next move. Every adjustment felt like a conversation between her and the vessel. Then the first enemy scout appeared on the long-range sensors. A sleek black craft armed to the teeth cut through the asteroid field with deadly precision. "They're testing you," the ship said. "Do not underestimate them." Alara smirked. "Underestimate me." "They're about to learn the hard way." She activated the ship's defensive systems. Energy shields flared, shimmering like a second skin around the vessel. Weapons hummed, charging with a deep, resonant tone. It was a sound that sent shivers down her spine and filled her with exhilaration at the same time. The scout fired first. Plasma bolts streaked across the void, colliding with the shield. Sparks and energy flares lit the darkness. Alara maneuvered the ship, weaving between asteroids with precision no human pilot could match. The ship anticipated her every move, twisting and turning as if it had thought ahead for her. The scout pressed the attack, but Alara had learned quickly. Using the ship's interface, she manipulated the asteroid field itself. Small rocks moved subtly, creating barriers and traps. The scout collided with a chunk of debris, spinning out of control before retreating. "Not bad for your first fight," the ship said, almost approvingly. Alara grinned. Not bad, that was awesome. But she knew it was only the beginning. The scouts were just the first wave. The main forces would follow, and they would be more dangerous. Over the next few days, Alara trained with the ship. She learned to control its engines, its stealth systems, and even its strange energy weapons. She discovered that her own emotions affected the ship's responsiveness. Calm and focused, it performed flawlessly. Hesitant or fearful, it faltered. She realized that this bond was not just technical, it was personal. Then came the real test. A fleet appeared on the sensors, dozens of ships converging on her position. Alien symbols marked their hulls. They were powerful, disciplined, and clearly coordinated. "They know you have something," the ship said. "They seek control, you must not let them succeed." Alara's hands gripped the controls. "Then we fight smart, not fast, smart." She activated the ship's stealth mode, vanishing from the enemy's visual sensors. Using the asteroid field to her advantage, she set traps, drawing enemy ships into ambush points. Plasma mines, energy barriers, and unexpected maneuvers tore through the fleet. Every action relied on intuition, adaptability, and the ability to think faster than the enemy, a very human advantage. The aliens were powerful but predictable. They relied on brute strength and superior technology. Alara relied on creativity and cunning. Each ship she disabled added to her confidence. The core pulsed with satisfaction, responding to her tactics as if it were a partner, not just a machine. Hours later, the last enemy ship retreated. Alara floated in the silence of space, heart pounding but triumphant. The ship's core glowed softly as if it were alive and proud. "You have passed this trial," it said. "But this is only the beginning. Greater challenges lie ahead. You must prepare for them." Alara leaned back in the captain's chair, exhausted but exhilarated. "I'm ready," she said quietly. "Bring them on." For the first time, she realized something important. Humans were underestimated in the galaxy not because they were weak, but because no one understood their strength. Creativity, persistence, intuition. These were weapons no alien technology could replicate. As she charted a new course, deeper into unexplored space, Alara felt a surge of excitement. The ship had chosen her for a reason. And together, they could face anything the galaxy threw at them. Unknown to her, far away, shadowy figures watched the drift patterns of her ship. Messages were sent across light years, alerting powerful factions. A human had awakened a ship of immense power. And now the hunt had truly begun. Alara did not yet know how far-reaching her adventure would be. She did not know the secrets the ship had kept hidden for millennia, but she felt it in her bones. She was no longer just a salvage captain. She was the key to something greater, something that could change the fate of humanity itself. The void stretched endlessly before Alara, black and silent, yet she could feel it buzzing with danger. Sensors on the ship blinked continuously, tracking multiple vessels converging on her position. This was no longer a scout or a small fleet. The alien force that sought the ship's power had arrived in full strength. Alara tightened her grip on the controls. "All right, let's see what you've got," she muttered, speaking to the ship as much as to herself. The core pulsed in response, almost like a heartbeat. She knew it was listening, learning, adapting alongside her. The first wave hit without warning. Energy beams cut across the darkness, colliding with the ship's shields. The hull shuddered under the impact, metal groaning against force it had never faced before. Alara felt the adrenaline surge through her veins, her senses sharpening. "They're stronger than the scouts," the ship said, "but predictable. They follow patterns." Alara smirked. "Then let's make them break their patterns." She dove into the asteroid field, weaving her ship between rocks and debris. The alien fleet pursued, firing relentlessly. But Alara had learned something important. Humans could improvise in ways aliens could not anticipate. Using the ship's advanced systems, she manipulated gravity fields in localized pockets. Small asteroids shot forward like missiles, colliding with enemy hulls. Energy mines deployed silently, invisible until it was too late. One by one, the alien ships were disabled or forced to retreat. Yet the battle was far from over. From behind, a massive command vessel appeared, larger and more heavily armed than anything Alara had ever seen. It moved deliberately, almost like a predator sizing up its prey. "They're bringing in the big guns," she muttered. Her hands flew across the controls, adjusting shields and deploying countermeasures. "Good. I like a challenge." The command vessel fired a concentrated plasma beam. Alara barely dodged, the blast ripping through an asteroid that had been her shield. Sparks and energy arcs filled the void around her. She realized the aliens had underestimated one thing: a human's creativity. While most pilots would follow conventional maneuvers, Alara used the environment in unexpected ways. She activated the ship's cloaking field and slipped behind the command vessel, using reflected energy from distant asteroids to create false signals. The alien sensors were confused, firing at phantom targets while she prepared her strike. The Corps' voice guided her, calm but insistent. "Focus. The vessel responds to strategy and intuition. Predict, improvise, act." Alara's eyes narrowed. "All right, time for some human ingenuity." She fired a series of energy pulses, not directly at the enemy, but into space where gravity fields could bend them around the vessel. The pulses hit from angles the aliens did not anticipate, causing the command ship to stagger and falter. Alarms blared across the enemy hulls, confusion spreading rapidly. The smaller fleet, without guidance, faltered. Alara seized the moment, executing maneuvers that seemed reckless but were perfectly timed. One by one, the alien ships were neutralized, drifting helplessly in space. Yet victory came at a cost. The ship shuddered violently, one of the secondary energy cores overloading from the strain. Alara's heart pounded as she worked to stabilize it. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the smell of burnt circuits filled the cabin. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. Her hands moved with precision, human intuition guiding every adjustment. Slowly, the ship's system stabilized, humming with renewed energy. "Impressive," the Corps said. "You adapt, you overcome. Humans have potential." Alara allowed herself a small smile. "Told you." "We're underestimated for a reason." But the command vessel was not defeated yet. It reactivated a cloaking field of its own and disappeared from sensors. Alara knew it was planning something, and she could feel the tension building. Hours passed in a tense standoff. Alara stayed alert, monitoring every anomaly, every shadow. Then, without warning, the command vessel reappeared above a nearby moon, releasing a massive energy pulse that disrupted the ship's shields. Alara's stomach dropped. The pulse had tested the vessel, probing for weaknesses. She realized something critical. The command ship was not just hunting her for the vessel, it wanted to control the power within her hands. "All right," she muttered, voice low but steady. "Time to finish this." Using the ship's full potential, she activated the quantum thrusters and a defensive array that no human or alien vessel should have been capable of handling. The ship moved with unnatural speed, weaving through enemy fire, dodging, countering, and striking with precision. She engaged the alien vessel directly, not with raw power, but with strategy. Energy tendrils shot from the ship, controlled by her mind and intuition, wrapping around the command vessel's hull and short-circuiting its systems. The alien ship flared and shuddered, then exploded in a brilliant display of light. Debris drifted in silence, the battle over in a fraction of the time anyone would have expected. Alara floated in the cockpit, chest heaving, sweat on her brow. The ship hummed gently, almost proud. "You have succeeded," it said, "but the journey is not complete. Greater challenges remain." Alara leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. She had faced a force stronger than anything humans had encountered before and had won. Not by raw power, but by cunning, intuition, and the ability to think differently. She realized more than ever why the ship had chosen her. Humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and bold, qualities that no alien mind could replicate. She had become the perfect pilot for a vessel unlike anything in the galaxy. The aftermath was quiet. Debris from the alien fleet floated across the void. Alara scanned for survivors but found none that posed an immediate threat. Yet she knew this was only a temporary victory. Others would come, more powerful, more prepared. Her thoughts turned inward. What had she awakened within the ship? The power was immense beyond her full understanding. She felt it pulsing beneath her fingertips, a force that could reshape worlds or destroy them. The responsibility weighed heavily on her. The ship sensed her hesitation. "Do not fear the power," it said. "Fear arises from uncertainty. Control arises from understanding. You will learn." Alara nodded slowly. "I will learn, I have to." As she charted a course toward a nearby uninhabited system, she accessed the ship's data cores. Files and records revealed fragments of past conflicts, civilizations, and advanced technologies. Some of it she could barely comprehend. Yet each piece she studied, each puzzle she solved made her stronger, more capable. Hours later, a faint signal reached her from an unknown source. It was not hostile, not yet, but the voice that spoke through it was clear and commanding. "Human, you possess what should not belong to you. Surrender it or face annihilation." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Annihilation, huh? Guess they don't know humans very well." She looked at the ship, a silent partner in this vast, dangerous galaxy. "You are ready," the core said. "But readiness is only the beginning. You will face choices no human has ever faced, and your decisions will shape the future." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then I choose to protect it. No one takes this from me, not alien, not human, not anyone." The stars stretched endlessly before her. Danger, power, and responsibility waited in every corner of the galaxy. But for the first time, she didn't feel afraid. She had the ship, her mind, and human ingenuity on her side. That was enough. Somewhere far away, the enemy fleets were regrouping. New forces would come, more powerful, more cunning. But they had not faced a human yet, someone who could think differently, improvise, and fight in ways they could never anticipate. Alara tightened her grip on the controls. "Let's see what you've got," she whispered to the stars. "Because humans, we never give up." The ship pulsed in response, a gentle vibration that felt almost like encouragement. Together, they would face whatever the galaxy threw at them, and they would prevail. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Greater challenges awaited, choices that would test not only her skill but her heart and mind. Yet, Alara felt ready. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long. Alara floated silently in the cockpit, the stars stretching endlessly around her. The alien fleets she had defeated were only the beginning. Far more dangerous enemies were gathering in the shadows of the galaxy, each one eager to claim the power she now wielded. Yet for the first time she felt truly in control. The ship pulsed beneath her hands, alive and aware. Its energy hummed in sync with her heartbeat, responding to her thoughts, her instincts. It was more than a vessel now. It was a partner, a weapon, and a guide. And together, they were unstoppable. She accessed the ship's data cores once more, scanning the information she had salvaged. Schematics of advanced energy weapons, histories of forgotten wars, and maps of unknown star systems filled her screens. Each piece of knowledge brought clarity, revealing how the ship had been built to defend entire civilizations, and how much of that defense relied on a human mind. A new alert flashed on the console. Another fleet had appeared, larger than before, with vessels bristling with weapons and shielded with advanced energy fields. Alara's jaw tightened. This was the true test, the one the ship had been preparing her for. "They are coming," the ship said, calm yet firm. "The final challenge awaits." Alara took a deep breath. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The battle began almost immediately. Enemy ships moved in tight formation, firing coordinated volleys of plasma and laser energy. The ship responded instantly, shields flaring to meet each attack. But Alara knew brute force alone would not win this fight. She needed strategy, creativity, and intuition, human strengths no alien could predict. She activated the ship's stealth array, vanishing from the enemy's sensors. Using the asteroid belt nearby, she manipulated gravitational fields to create false targets, drawing the enemy ships into traps. Small asteroids accelerated like missiles, striking hulls and disabling weapon systems. Energy tendrils from the ship laced through space, short-circuiting shields and sensors with precision. The aliens were powerful but rigid in their tactics. Alara anticipated their moves, countering each attack before it could reach her. She exploited every weakness, every predictable pattern, turning their strength against them. Hours passed, the battle stretching across the void. Alara felt exhaustion creep in, but she pushed it aside. The ship pulsed in sync with her determination, amplifying her instincts. Together, they moved as one, a seamless combination of human intuition and alien technology. Then, the enemy flagship appeared. It was massive, far larger than any vessel she had seen, and it bristled with energy weapons capable of destroying planets. Alara's pulse quickened. This was the moment of truth. The ship responded to her tension, its systems glowing with power. "We face them together," it said. Alara nodded. Together. She maneuvered the ship into position, weaving through enemy fire while analyzing the flagship's weak points. She realized it relied on rigid targeting protocols, predictable patterns that she could exploit. Using the ship's full potential, she created a series of energy pulses that moved unpredictably, striking the flagship from angles it could not defend against. The flagship shuddered under the assault. Its shields flickered, weapons overloaded. Alara pressed the attack, not with raw power but with precision, creativity, and timing. Each strike was a human solution to an alien problem, unpredictable and deadly. Finally, with a brilliant flash of energy, the flagship erupted in flames, its fleet scattering in disarray. Silence returned to the void, broken only by the gentle hum of the ship's core. Alara exhaled, her body trembling with adrenaline. "You have succeeded," the ship said softly. "But success is not measured in victory alone. It is measured in responsibility, wisdom, and courage. You have demonstrated all three." Alara looked at the core, feeling a deep connection to the vessel. "I didn't just win because of you," she said. "I won because humans, we think differently. We adapt. We create. That's why we survive." The ship pulsed in acknowledgement. "Indeed. Humanity is underestimated. Yet in your hands, potential becomes power. And power, when guided by wisdom, can shape the future." Alara turned her attention to the larger question that had been haunting her since she first boarded the ship. What should she do with this power? The ship was capable of incredible feats, altering planetary systems, defending against entire fleets, and even manipulating energy in ways that could rewrite the rules of the galaxy. Such power could corrupt even the strongest mind. She thought of humanity, of the colonies struggling to survive at the edge of known space. She thought of the rival factions she had defeated, all seeking power for conquest and domination. And she realized her choice was clear. "I will protect this," she said firmly. "Not for me, not for wealth, not for glory, for humanity." The ship pulsed brightly as if proud. "A wise choice. You have embraced the responsibility that comes with power. You are ready to ascend to become a guardian, not a conqueror." Alara smiled, feeling a sense of purpose she had never known. She activated the ship's full capabilities, launching a sequence of systems that would cloak its presence and secure it from future threats. Any who sought it would find only shadows and false signals, while she remained free to guide humanity safely. As she navigated through unexplored space, the ship shared knowledge, advanced technologies, strategies for survival, and secrets of long-lost civilizations. Alara absorbed it all, preparing to bring this wisdom back to humanity. She would not keep it for herself. She would use it to elevate her species, to show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. Days later, she arrived at a hidden system, far from the reaches of rival fleets. The ship settled into orbit around an uninhabited planet, its systems cloaked and secure. Alara stepped onto the planet's surface for the first time since claiming the vessel. The ground was rough, the air thin, but she felt alive, stronger than ever. She looked up at the stars, thinking of the colonies she had once salvaged for, the humans who had struggled, and the civilizations she had glimpsed through the ship's knowledge. A sense of pride filled her. Humanity had always survived against the odds, underestimated at every turn. And now, with this ship, they had a chance to rise even higher. The ship's core pulsed gently beside her, its energy calm and steady. "You have done well, human. The galaxy will remember this. And so will I." Alara placed her hand on the core, feeling the warmth, the intelligence, the connection. "We did it together," she said, "and this is only the beginning." In the weeks that followed, she trained, explored, and prepared. The ship revealed more of its secrets, teaching her advanced navigation, energy manipulation, and strategies that could outwit any opponent. She discovered hidden caches of technology on distant moons and asteroid fields, each one adding to humanity's potential. Messages began to arrive from human colonies, signals of distress, of requests for guidance, of hope. Alara responded, sharing knowledge, providing protection, and demonstrating what humans could accomplish when guided by ingenuity and courage. Stories of a mysterious ship, piloted by a daring human woman, began to spread across the galaxy. Whispers of fear and respect followed her name, yet Alara remained grounded. She knew power alone was meaningless without wisdom and compassion. She made careful decisions, teaching humanity to grow, not dominate. She became a symbol of hope, a reminder that humans, underestimated and overlooked, were capable of greatness. One evening, as she watched the twin suns set over the barren planet, she reflected on her journey. From a simple salvage captain to the master of a sentient vessel, she had faced enemies, discovered wonders, and learned the true meaning of responsibility. The galaxy had underestimated humans, but she had shown them their strength. The ship pulsed softly, almost in agreement. Together, they would continue to explore, protect, and elevate humanity. The stars were no longer the limit, they were the beginning. Alara smiled, determination burning in her eyes. "Let's chart a new frontier," she said. "Let's show the galaxy what humans can really do." The ship responded with a gentle hum, a promise of power, partnership, and endless possibilities. And as they launched into the unknown, one thing was clear. Humanity's story had only just begun, and it would be a story of courage, ingenuity, and triumph. For the first time, Alara felt the full weight of her place in the galaxy. She was no longer just a salvager. She was a guardian, a pioneer, and a testament to what humans could achieve when they embraced their true potential. And the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.